Welcome to Gamersledge Podcast, the weekly podcast about video games with news, reviews, analysis, and opinion. Keeping you up to date on how to wisely spend your money for video games, movies, RPGs, comics, books, and more for over 16 years. Find us online at gamersledge.com. And now, your hosts.
Hello and welcome to Gamersledge Podcast. This is our extra bonus Spoilercast episode for Guardians of the Galaxy. We've got a couple people here joining us tonight. First off is the raccoon of the bunch, Turo.
Front-row.
And suddenly...
that's it, no working.
Yay for technical stuff.
I just got a text from him. His headset's going goofy for some reason.
All right, well, let's put him up on the screen. There he is. Let's all stare at him.
We'll just charade the rest of the episode with him.
That's right. We'll charade.
Really good at it.
Anyway, talk to him. And then we also have the destroyer of the group, Dave.
Hi.
Very destructive sounding.
Yeah, I know. Well, it'll happen. It's a shame we didn't have this during the weekend. I had some allergy thing happening. My voice was, really deep. It was awesome. I don't know what was going on.
And also joining us, our main staple and glue of the group, I am Tree, Matt.
I am Neil. That didn't come off near as well as I hoped.
Yeah, nah, not at all.
No.
And also joining us for a special segment at the very beginning of the show, also here to pimp his channel, Mitchell.
Hey.
And of course, I am your sexy assassin host.
That was not voted on by the group, by the way.
Yeah.
I've been holding that in all day. So, Turo, do you have a voice again? That would be a no. All right. So, we're obviously here to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. First, some housekeeping tips. Number one, if you have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy, I suggest that you stop watching right now. Obviously, we are going to be talking about spoilers, in-depth spoilers about the movie. So this is your final warning. Do not watch this if you do not wish Guardians of the Galaxy, the movie that came out in 2014 by Marvel, to be spoiled for you. Other than that, come on in, sit down, have a nice bowl of Japanese curry, some Dasani water, and relax as a conversation between friends about Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to start a new segment called Reviews of the Ute, as certain people would have said in My Cousin Vinny. So, Mitchell, you saw Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes, I did.
Why don't you give us your quick review of it?
Alright, well, I found it to be an action comedy movie, and I thought overall the movie was well balanced and was just a good movie overall.
Favorite character?
Well, my favorite character probably would be Rocket, just because he is very lively and he has multiple hilarious lines.
And was there...
Also, he just likes to blow stuff up, so...
Favorite moment of the movie?
Favorite moment in the movie? At the end, when Peter Quill, Star-Lord, starts dancing right in front of Ronan.
Very good. So if you were going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I would probably give it a 9.
So
I really, really liked it. It was a really good movie to me.
What could have been better to get it to a 10 in your mind?
I think they could have used a little bit more character backstory for the characters.
So you're not the only person to have said that in your age demographic, just FYI, where all of us older people are like, yay, not spending 2 hours on exposition of backstory.
Well, they could have just used a little bit more. 2 hours, yeah, that would be a bit much, I think.
I recommend you not watch Iron Man 1.
So against the other Marvel movies, of which I know you have seen all of them, where would you stack this in the stack? Is it your top? Is it middle of the pack?
It's definitely in the higher range.
You don't have a specific number yet?
Probably second, first, somewhere, one of those. It's one of the top ones.
Who's it battling with?
Avengers, probably.
Okay.
So you're putting it at near or on par with the Avengers?
On par with the Avengers.
All right, then. That speaks well. So here's the loaded question. Will you watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yes, I will.
Very good.
And I look forward to it.
Do you think we'll see any of the Guardians characters in any movies, any of the other Marvel movies before Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
I'm thinking that they might put it in Avengers 2. Maybe.
In the main story or more like a stinger thing?
I think they might bring him in with the main story, but if not, they will probably most likely do it with a stinger, seeing as how it'll be released later after Avengers 2, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's in between Avengers 2 and Avengers 3. So, well, I have one more question. What was for others of your age demographic, high school aged, that haven't seen it yet, which based on the numbers isn't very many of them. What experience did you have in the past with specifically Guardians of the Galaxy, if any, and did it meet your expectations, or did you just kind of go in not really knowing much about the characters and just wanting to learn about it?
I had basic knowledge of the characters from some of my more geeky habits. And it definitely met my expectations. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good. So tell us about your channel that you're here to promote.
Well, my channel is Mitchell's Epic. I primarily just either do vlogs or pretty much whatever I feel like doing. Probably maybe a couple reviews here and there later.
Are you going to do a review of Guardians of the Galaxy on your vlog?
Yeah, I could do that. Probably. I was actually even sort of thinking about that earlier a little bit. Come across my mind once or twice.
Taro, go ahead.
I was just say, what are some of the other things? I was just going to ask, what are some of the other things he wants to cover in his channel? Because I know there's one that he hasn't mentioned yet. It's the only video game you pre-order.
Oh, yes. One game that I'm really looking forward to right now.
Wait, let me guess. Is it Pokemon?
Yes. Yes, it is. Pokemon Omega Ruby.
So let me tell you, because now this is the part where I take the heel turn in the podcast and I become evil. The thing you need to watch out for is called Yokai Watch. Yokai Watch. Trust me on this. Yokai Watch. It will be bigger than Pokemon.
No.
All I have to say is look to the west, my dear friends. Look to the west.
I remember you talking about it. I don't think it's going to happen.
The second game came out and it sold 1 million copies in a week. And on top of that, there are lines around the blocks for the medals. Because if you pre-order the movie that's coming out, tickets to the movie, you got medals, and they saw lines like they have never seen before in all of Japan.
Eh.
Yokai Watch, you'll collect ghosts instead of critters. So
something for you to look at and maybe cover on your channel.
That's right.
I'll keep an eye out for it. Definitely. Yokai Watch.
Anything else you want to say, Mitchell?
Other than I would like to thank you for letting me come on today.
Not a problem.
As part of the podcast.
Not a problem. We wanted some perspective, and I think we got it, and we appreciate it. And everybody go check out Mitchell is Epic on YouTube.
And that's Mitchell with 1L, correct?
Correct, yes. 1L.
Perfect. So, Turo, you have a working microphone again now?
Yeah, I found my voice.
So, I know that you happen to write a review, not on our website. Maybe you might like to...
I was gonna ask you to help with that, but whatever.
Yeah, I will totally help with you. Like, why don't you tell me your review of the movie, and then we'll go from there.
I loved it. Every bit of it. It wasn't forced. As far as letting you learn about the characters, they didn't push it on you. Like Drax's backstory, they didn't really say too much. It didn't throw it at you. One of my favorite parts, which included some backstory, was when they were getting drunk, and Rocket was just halfway crying, talking about how they took them apart and put them together and took them apart, and it was just the drinking and the inebriation that brought his side story out. Instead of just forcing it on you, that's what happens whenever you get drunk. You kind of get emotional. And so I absolutely love that part, especially when they're all fighting and Groot and yeah, it was just good, and it was showing how vulnerable these characters are. They're just not super human. They had to go through some crap to get there. And we didn't get too much of Drax's story, whether they're going to go with the whole, transferred soul or not. We didn't get that much on him, but we just know enough to why he's trying to fight. And they did everything just right as far as how to keep these characters together. They were trying to, Groot and Rocket try to get, whatchamacallit, they tried to get a bounty. They went after Peter Quill, and then they all get caught, and then they said, you know what, you mess with him, you got to go through us. So that brought them together, and then Gamora, and it was just all cool. It was just all tightly compact. The pacing, the timing, everything was just awesome. Nothing was forced, nothing... you wanted to accept it, and then it just kept flowing, and it kept better and better, and it was just, man, I want to watch it again.
I just got back from watching it again, so just FYI.
I was supposed to on Friday. I watched it Thursday, and my friends invited me to go watch it Friday, and I couldn't. I didn't have a vehicle.
I have a 3D IMAX about 5 minutes from the house. So yesterday I just went and watched it again.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic. So what would your score be out of 10?
Out of 10, I gave it an A+, which is 10 out of 10 for me. It is the best film that I've seen this year. The closest ones, I can't really think of many this year. That much fun for the type of audience for it, which is everybody, besides some of the cuss words for the little ones, and holy crap, some of the adult humor. That black light, man. No one, no little kid's gonna get it, but it's in there, which makes it dirty. But it just reminded me of The Mask. When I love that movie to death, but whenever I was younger, he pulled out a balloon, and I thought it was a wet, broken balloon. He's like, "Sorry, boys, wrong pocket," or something like that. Then I watched it again when I was older and realized it was a freaking condom. Again, a kids movie. Well, it's not really a kids movie. It's just for fun movie. So, it's just all around good. Because you can't take kids to watch Lucy, and Lucy was great, but that kind of thing. It's just a great movie for everyone.
So, Dave, I understand as normal you didn't like the movies that we liked.
Yeah, I really, man, I hated this flick so much that I only saw it 3 times in the theater.
Only 3? My gosh.
I know.
What's wrong with you, man?
We're probably going to get another couple in this week, actually.
Oh,
I know, guaranteed I have a 4th because I'm taking a friend of mine on Friday for his birthday. I said, I'm taking you out to the movies, and it's just like, an excuse for me to go again, of course, too. But I know he wants. I know he'll enjoy it, so we're gonna do that.
So what's your quick rundown review of the movie?
A quick rundown. Oh God, it's actually. I'm really thinking of putting it up there with one of my some of my favorite just like geeky fun movies. Like it's to me it's up there with Fifth Element, Scott Pilgrim.
Yep. I was gonna name those 2. Dang.
Yeah.
Good job, sir.
Thank you. It's just it's going to be one of my go-to movies as far as like, hey, I want to watch a fun movie that's awesome, that just makes me smile. I mean, the soundtrack is just awesome. I was listening to the soundtrack before the movie came out, and I was just thinking, like, with the different songs, I'm like, oh, I really hope this song is for something awesome. Like, I was like, I really hope they use that Jackson 5 song for something awesome. Was not disappointed. The opening, the movie had the best opening like opening like title reveal out of like any movie. Like when they're just sitting there, when he starts like coming in and just the music's playing and he's dancing, and he's like singing along with it, and then it just like boom does the pullback shot. It does Guardians of the Galaxy real big, and like there he is just like dancing right under it and everything. It's just how could
perfect opening. It was a perfect opening for that movie.
Exactly.
It was oh man.
It just set the tone right away, and you're just like. It's just like sit back, settle in. You're in for a fun ride this whole time, and it was. I mean, that movie was just.
Out of 10.
Out of 10, we'll do 10. Seriously,
okay.
It's right up there, I think, with Avengers as far as just overall fun and awesome the way they set everything up. I just watched Avengers the other day, like gearing up for this for some reason because I was just like, all right, I watched a good Marvel movie before that, and I want to see Hulk smash some stuff. I was like, man, I really hope this movie doesn't disappoint, and it's right up there with it.
So Matt,
yeah, I'm in the interesting position of trying to find something unique to say in this conversation at this point. There's
talk about the post-credit scene.
I would rather talk about the pre-credit scene because I don't think I have laughed that hard at a movie in ages.
Such a perfect ending. You know what? And they were selling those on Etsy, and I have one reserved.
You know what? Let's actually talk about probably the largest surprise character in the movie, or rather the actor playing him, Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
You couldn't have asked for a better straight man for the entire movie.
Oh yeah, no.
The thing that I'm impressed with is his lines were not exactly like he had some complicated stuff going on there to pull off.
He said he took months after he got the role. He said he was so honored that he dedicated himself months of acting classes and everything.
That's awesome.
It showed too because he was honored. He said, and yeah, it shows.
One thing that wrestlers are, they're dedicated. So yeah, they put his mind to something, I'm sure.
It was awesome.
That one scene where he's like, "When did we discuss?" He goes, "When did we say that?" We just said that like 3 seconds ago. He goes, "I wasn't listening. I was thinking of something else."
Nothing goes over my head.
Yeah.
Quick reflexes.
So I will say the first time when he killed the sub-baddie, I did not understand what he said. And so yesterday when I watched it again, I heard very clearly what he said this time, and that was, my finger goes over your throat, which means dead.
Yeah.
Between that and then Groot summarily executing everyone with great glee.
Giant smile. Giant smile.
Ridiculous. That was crazy.
Wall
Yeah.
to wall smashing.
All right, everybody. Favorite line of the movie.
Oh,
I am Groot.
Favorite
I'm distracting
line?
you, Turd Blossom.
That was a good one.
Mine easily, and this was like at first I was thinking it was the Jackson Pollock line, but actually my favorite line was Rocket going, "Why do you still have that?" That line was delivered so perfectly and animated so well that it was just like,
I would say my favorite line was actually, no, but that's not going to work because what if I want it more than they do?
Oh,
He did an amazing job with Rocket there. He really did.
So one of the things that I noticed on my first pass through, and then Matt, I'll promise I'll let you get to your review. One of the things I noticed was in the scene where Quill is getting Rocket out of the cockpit of the vehicle after having just run into Ronan. He was carrying Rocket in a realistic fashion. And so I immediately knew that they simply removed whatever was in his hands and put the character model there instead, because I actually went to school for special effects for film, and removing and editing those types of shots is something that I studied. And so I actually watched the credits the first time, and I caught it the first time. They actually had a child in a raccoon suit on the set for all of raccoon stuff.
Are they related to somebody?
I don't know about that, but yeah.
I noticed in some of the shots they posted on Facebook today, they actually had like a stuffed Rocket in some of the scenes where he's like just standing still.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed that too. That's one of the first things I look for in things like that is, okay, there's actually weight in his arms because you can tell the difference. It's like, thing that drives me nuts is when people have like Starbucks cups and they're obviously empty, because empty coffee cups just move differently than ones with weight in them.
I hate
they didn't even take the time to put like water in it or something to give it heft. You can tell it's empty. So yeah, you can tell he actually physically had something in his arms that they CGI'd over.
Okay, so your review. Wait, Turo has to tell his favorite line in the movie because he hasn't done so.
I'm still thinking. There's so many.
I think my favorite line is actually, well, I do like the Turd Blossom line. I laughed pretty hard at that one too, and I love how his like insults never exceeded beyond like 7th grade. That was awesome. But I think you just want to suck the joy out of everything. I think is actually.
I have to say that right up there for me was, well, you said it, bitch. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that was right up there too. That was the one time I grimaced with the kids there. I was like, okay.
If that was the one time you grimaced, I think you were missing out on some of the others.
Jeez.
Well, no, but I mean, a lot of it was, more like Toro said, it was done very much in the style of a Disney movie where there were 2 levels of humor, so, I mean, language-wise.
I don't like this now because now female Thor and Gamora are Disney princesses.
Oh, snap.
There is something inherently wrong with that.
Well, people are already saying that Thor already was a Disney princess. Hey-oh.
You shut your mouth.
What?
Well, Loki is, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah. It's a whole world.
Okay, so rest of my review. I guess I will actually, since everyone else did nothing but glowing positives, I do, and there went Mitchell. Bye, Mitchell is epic. The couple of things that I had a little bit of found a little bit of a fault with. Besides Cosmo not talking, because that just.
Yeah, I was actually really perturbed by that too. Just FYI.
I thought that's what was going to come up in the. There's Thanos staring at me.
He's wanting that you choose your words carefully. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. I will. And they're minor annoyance boys, but one was Cosmo not talking, and I really expected that's what was going to happen in the Stinger. And then when I saw Cosmo come up, I was like, oh yes, and then he didn't. But
You got something better.
got something at the end there that I can't complain about. But
That was hilarious.
All right, so let's.
okay, so
You brought it up, so sorry. We're gonna go ahead and discuss it
Okay.
now. You're never gonna finish your review.
I'm never gonna We're just gonna use my review as the discussion point.
So I don't think there is a character I could have anticipated less.
I know there isn't one I could have.
Howard the Duck. I mean, it's almost
Canonizing
like
Howard the Duck.
yeah.
I'm so glad I
Seriously.
own that on VHS. I don't know how much. I don't know. I love it that it's on VHS.
I would have never in a million years simply because they don't own the rights to him, and so
And he was
that,
a puppet too, wasn't he? He wasn't
CGI. No, I think he was a puppet too. He looked really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal was. I don't like the design. It wasn't anything like I thought it was going to be. So, surprisingly, I stayed post-credits the second time just to look at it again, and he still looks weird to me.
You have to. I stay for the post-credits every time.
No, yeah, I know, but I did catch a line that I didn't hear the first time because I was explaining who the hell Howard the Duck was to the people that went with me. But I did not hear him say the first time, "Oh, that's the Burns going down."
Yeah.
I did not hear him say that.
Oh no, I missed that totally.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's what he says after he says his first line.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah. Okay. So go ahead and finish your.
does anybody else have input on Howard the Duck? Howard? No. Okay.
The thing that I thought was
that's
funny,
Seth Green, right? That was
Yeah.
confirmed that it was Seth Green that did the voice.
It was
right?
confirmed, yeah.
the thing that struck me funny is that there were people in the theater thinking that meant there was going to be a Howard the Duck movie coming.
Oh man, the internet blew up with that. I go, there's already one out, so don't worry.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
one
no.
was more than enough.
Yeah, and then somebody
And
said that Leah Thompson was Quill's mom in the beginning, and that Howard the Duck was actually going to be his dad.
Well, they did say something ancient, so
Oh
Yeah.
my God, no.
Yeah, that was I read that on Reddit, so
you read
Oh,
it up.
Reddit. Don't
I
do
just I just assumed it was true.
There's an authoritative source of everything. Okay, so a couple of things that bugged me. I was not fully impressed by now I've totally forgot her name. Gillian's Karen. Is that her first name?
Nebula.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Karen
thought
Gillian's portrayal
Okay,
of
Go
Nebula.
ahead. Go ahead.
It was okay, but I mean, well, and I don't know how much of it was just the extreme modulation that they did on her voice. If it, I don't know what it was.
She was
Sometimes it looked great, and sometimes it worked great, and other times I was kind of like,
when she was a being slowly, they were putting mechanical parts on her, so she was losing her self. I don't know. She's not human. She was
I don't
losing
know.
herself as a being into a robot, so she was becoming robot feelings.
Well, she was angry all the time. I mean, it was just understandable and fine. I mean, it just, I don't know.
Angry robot.
Angry robot. I don't know. I just, there
No,
were times.
if Thanos is your dad, you're not going to be a happy kid. I'm just,
Right. So it's not that she was angry all the time. It was just there was something about the presentation. And again, I'll have to watch it again. I'm one of the poor schmucks who will have to wait till it comes out on disc to watch it again, most likely. But I can't specify what it was. I kept on trying to pick up on what it was when I noticed that I was going to her. I can't quite figure it out. I don't know, but it was just something about it. I can't quite figure out what it was. I know Turo called out earlier that we don't know for sure what Drax's backstory is, but I was expecting something different for Drax. I was expecting something a little more traditional, especially with getting a wrestler to play him, portray him. What they did was fine. It just wasn't what I was ready for. So in the end, it ended up working well with the movie. It's just having him not be a weapon designed to do nothing but kill Thanos. Okay. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm saying that's exactly the point I was going to make. Obviously, they're not going with the original story with that, but they really got to power him up a little bit too.
Well, and
Yeah.
see, that's
Gotta-
my.
He was dunked in the stuff.
Well, not only was he dunked into stuff, but we still have not seen Warlock yet. And my guess is that Warlock is going to do the deed. He's going to power him up. To
That-
do
that could
exactly
be.
that.
Possible. You think? My guess is Adam Warlock shows up in a Doctor Strange movie. I mean, that just makes sense.
That would be my guess as well.
Have they confirmed who's going to be Doctor Strange or
Not
no?
that I've seen.
I still want it to be Joaquin Phoenix now.
Yeah, there's been talks, and some of the names are really good.
Don't do that.
Well, at this point, yeah, stop it, all y'all.
Dude,
Now, this point, I think everybody said this, but at this point, it's printing money. Every movie, I saw a statistic.
so
it's what, their 9th #1 movie in a row.
Yes, let's clarify.
Wow.
It is the largest August opening in history by more than $30 million.
Yeah.
This was Marvel unzipping, taking it out, slapping it on the table, and going, yeah.
Thank God
But
Mitchell is not here.
Yeah, glad he ducked out.
But that's exactly what it is. Marvel is completely Teflon for the foreseeable future.
Marvel is going to print money with anything they throw up on the screen. They could and should make a Darkhawk movie, and it will make $90 billion. You hear me?
Now, knowing that,
Make
and
Darkhawk.
Captain America still lost to Transformers this year.
Make Darkhawk.
Can't do any worse than Transformers.
I can't wait for a Dazzler movie.
That can't happen. Well, it can't happen by Marvel Studios.
No,
I know.
Wait, it can't. Oh no.
Nope, Fox owns them.
Which
Oh.
I learned this weekend too, which royally blew a hole in my plan for where I wanted these to go. But apparently, the Skrulls are tied to Fantastic Four.
Yep. That's why,
Fudge
Fox.
that's why we got the Chitauri, dude.
Well,
Yeah.
That's not what Whedon said originally. Originally, he said he didn't want to have to get into the backstory, blah 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 blah.
Oh,
blah.
that was him covering his
And that
butt
was
then.
him covering for Marvel. Why he did that, I don't know. I suppose he's contractually obligated.
Yeah, but now that we have Guardians, they can introduce any other shape-shifting culture they want. And
Yeah,
call
they can
them-
just make them up a different one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and they can't use the Badoon either, because apparently they're tied up in something else too.
Mm-hmm.
So, point I did like, we basically now have, by seeing naked Ronin walking around, or nearly naked Ronin walking around, that the guest house guest was in fact a Kree. So that makes things interesting and opens the hole for other potential Kree related things. Did I just drop off the internet?
No.
Okay. Apparently Mark just entered the Matrix then.
So if you're going to rate it out of 10, what would you give it?
He did enter the Matrix. I would say I appreciated a lot of the things in the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I don't think it's on par with Avengers. If I had to stack the Marvel movies, it's probably third for me right now.
Third?
Third.
Behind Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I'm guessing Avengers, Winter Soldier, and then Guardian.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll accept that. I'd actually put it like officially like number 2. Like I did enjoy Avengers more. I'll put Guardians and then Winter Soldier beneath that. I mean, but it's like super close.
I walked out. The only thing is they're two very different movies, right? I mean, they're two very different styles of movies and very different. And if I had to go, if I was going to differentiate them based on genre, they would be, parallel. I mean, they'd be right. Winter Soldier and.
I differentiate it based on which ones I want to watch.
See, I differentiate based on which one did left my jaw hanging more as I walked out of the theater, and Winter Soldier did that for me. The whole Hydra storyline and everything. All of the little stuff in there just wowed me. Now, I love the crap out of all the 80s references. Poke me one more time, Ninja Turtle. All the 80s references, all the music, everything was used beautifully. And how they made the team come together, and while it was kind of an artificial putting together of the team, it worked. It all just worked.
So out of 10, what
Out
would
of
you give?
10, I'm getting there. Probably a 9.5. Again, just a half point for like the Gamora, not Gamora, the Nebula thing that I can't quite put my finger on, and another half or another part of a point for Ronan being a rogue political terrorist.
Yeah, I mean, they killed him, which causes a whole slew of problems because guess what? Where is he? I know he's here somewhere. Where is he? I totally have him here somewhere. Ronan is a good guy, and I don't know how they're going to fix that because he's an important person to the Kree Empire.
And he would never do anything without the Supreme Intelligence's say-so.
I'm gonna say that I mirror all the good things that everybody said. Except Nebula. I like Nebula. There was only one scene that I thought she was too over the top, and that's when she was screaming at people to lower the.
That one was over the top.
That one was super over the top. The rest I kind of liked. I really liked the effects of her putting herself back together after Drax shot her.
Yeah,
that was crazy cool.
Her face, that was just weird. But
yeah, the jawline resetting was pretty.
Yeah,
nice. That was a nice touch.
It was a little painful, but yeah.
But the largest glaring plot/movie adaptation hole that I saw that I did not like was the Nova Corps. We had no Nova Corps to speak of, and if you're not familiar with the Nova Corps, they're the frickin' Green Lanterns of the Marvel Universe. For all intents and purposes, we had none of them. We had the Nova Corps, which was more like a military peacekeeping force, but no. None of this guy right here. None of them.
No.
And these guys can fly. They have armbands that blast people. They're super tough. They're linked up to the Nova Prime mind, which Glenn Close was credited as Nova Prime, not as leader of the Xandarians. So that makes me wonder if they're going to say, oh, you know, Ronan was able to do this. Maybe now we need to up our games, and they come out with the first prototype, which is how we get Nova on the Avengers. Or something.
Yeah, I was originally thinking, you know, they were going to that's not along those same lines. And my original thought is they were going to, you know, say, okay, these ship things don't work, so now we got to come up with a new way of using this energy that we power the ships with. But then I'm like, duh, they've got an Infinity Stone. What does everyone that have an Infinity Stone do?
Well,
find a way to weaponize it.
Yeah, and that works for me too. My only issue is what happens once Thanos gathers them, but
but I mean, if they use it, if they find a way to transfer some of the energy out of it into a storage device that, oh, by the way, happens to be a helmet.
So I've been really thinking about what they could possibly do for Guardians 2, and this is all I'm going to say. This needs to happen. Quasar needs to happen. They can do the backstory on the Kree Negabands and all that good stuff, and yeah, Quasar. Because then he can be on the Avengers and in Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just saying. Because they've got to start introducing more of these cosmic characters as they lead up to Avengers 3. If they are truly going to do the Infinity Gauntlet, we need to see half of them die anyways. Right off the get-go. That's going to be the opening 5 minutes of the movie, is watching Thanos eradicate half the universe.
You think they're going to have integrated Hulk by then?
I will have a freaking orgasm if they do integrated Hulk.
Because integrated Hulk was around for the Infinity Gauntlet.
But I don't think... Yeah, so was Thunderstrike, I'm saying.
Ouch.
So
I think we have a better chance of seeing Beta Ray Bill than we do of Thunderstrike.
Man, I'm hoping that's next door. Seriously.
The Beta Ray Bill story?
Yeah, please. Yes, please.
Wouldn't be bad.
You mean?
You ever see the cartoon version of
Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill. There he is.
Did you see the cartoon version of Planet Hulk?
Beta Ray Bill is.
No, I have.
Actually, it's actually really faithful to the comic books for the most part.
Except they added Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, except they added Beta Ray Bill. You're
which
right.
is awesome.
In place of Surfer.
In place of Surfer, because
Yeah.
because Surfer was the one they used in the comic. That is an amazing comic, by the way. Anyone that has not read that collection, do not World War Hulk. Do not get it confused with World War Hulk. That is toilet paper. Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk is amazing.
Yeah, they
I didn't mind World War Hulk that much.
They did a good
Coming
job
off
with
of
the
Planet Hulk
cartoon
was
version.
pretty weak.
But
So yeah, I'll have to watch that. I think that's on Netflix. I haven't watched. See, that's the thing. I haven't watched any of the Marvel animation movies or any of the DC animation movies. I don't
the
know
DC
why.
ones are much better.
Yeah, dude. Wait a minute.
DC,
First,
That's where they win.
How have you not been watching the DC ones?
I don't know. I just haven't. And I know a bunch of them are on Netflix.
That's not an acceptable answer. I need a real reason.
I have work, a family, limited TV time, games.
Not an
comic books,
acceptable
and
answer. No.
It never happens. It just never happens. Okay, so top 3 DC movies I need to watch.
No.
Red Mask.
No. Let's reel this back in. Guardians of the Galaxy tonight. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Nova Corps was my one big complaint for the movie. My other complaint is that they killed Ronan. I have to say that the entire set of scenes where Peter grabs the stone, extremely well done and well thought out.
Oh yeah.
And immediately creates a bond between the four of them that is unique and shows the internal strength of the characters. So I was very, very pleased with that whole thing. But probably my favorite moment in any Marvel movie was in this movie. And it's one of the few times where I think that they went above and beyond in inferring backstory. And that was when Yondu opened the troll doll. He did not scream, "I'm going to kill you." His crew was surrounding him, being idiots like they are every moment of every other day. And the fact that he smiled spoke more volumes than any spoken dialogue that has been in a Marvel movie, which said I don't know if he knew when he left with the orb that it wasn't there, or he just figured it out, but his reaction basically said, yeah, that's why I love you, because you're the only intelligent person I have to talk to. At least that's how I interpreted it. And watching it a second time only kind of cemented that for me, going in with that perspective, looking at the interactions between the two, because when he's threatening to kill him right after they come and drag him out of space. By the way, space decompression does not work like that. I'm just saying.
No. Yeah, not really.
You don't undecompress. You still die. So there is that. It's my only one technical issue with the movie.
Only half Terran. You don't know what his other half is. He can survive deep space.
Yeah, they never explained how
He's half space duck.
His mask protected his hands while he was flying through space, or the rest of his extremities.
Yeah, gloves on.
No, he did not.
No, he didn't.
You
He
could
didn't have
clearly
gloves
see
on at
his
all.
bare hands as he flew through space.
It was there were a couple things like that I just wrote up too.
Layer of shield.
No,
Around.
layer of something has been smeared and applied gratuitously. So,
White and black light.
yeah. So I'd give it probably a 9 out of 10, and I would put it solely exactly as Matt said. It would be my number 3 movie behind Winter Soldier and Avengers. Not that it's a worse movie, just that it's a different movie, and I do think that the story was a little paint by numbers in Guardians. I don't know why I felt that way, but certain things felt very predictable, like the contents of the gift. Even the opening scene, and this is going to sound like I'm meaning it as a bad thing, but I'm not. When they showed the backstory of Peter and his mother, and it then cut into the Marvel music, it was perfect, but at the same time it felt very pre-produced. Is that the way to say that? I don't know how to articulate that very well, but
overplanned.
Yeah, it seemed almost like, here's the template for every other Marvel movie from now on. Here's your 1.5 minutes of backstory, and off we go. That kind of thing. I don't know why I feel that way, but I'm not saying by any means it's a bad movie. In fact, I think it's a great movie, and I think it's going to have long legs in the theater. I don't know if it will hold out against Ninja Turtles. I hope the hell it does. And
the reviews are coming out for it, and they're saying it's crap. It's silly jokes. It's not funny.
It doesn't look good from the trailers
No,
I've seen.
they're saying that there's a handful of funny parts, and everything else just kind of falls flat and does not reward anybody who remembers the original.
You know what I want to see, but it's never going
Turtles.
to happen?
What's that?
Do a Turtles movie. It would almost kind of be like a retelling of the first movie, which was actually pretty faithful to the comics. But do it like Sin City, like in black and white.
Because the original comic was
Yeah.
sketch art.
A turtle to soup for?
Oh dear.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think Dave either didn't get it or just ignored it. One of the two.
No, I got it.
Okay. So just ignored it. Got it.
Yeah.
So the
I'm not rewarding that one. I'm sorry.
I'm proud to have this right here.
I have to say, I really thought the Red Arrow, Yanto's Red Arrow, that was the other thing that every time Yanto said something, I kept
Yandu.
Yandu said something, I kept on expecting him to say Daryl at the end of the sentence, or what idiot are you, Daryl? Accidentally called Peter Daryl or something.
Yeah, but I didn't mind him. I mean, I thought he was good for what it was.
It worked. It was really only the first couple of times. I'm like, no, it's not Merle. It's not Merle. It's not Merle.
I like that. I like to line up little things on my console. I can't tell if you're serious or not. Oh, he's serious.
So he did a great job with it. And if it wouldn't just be that I have him as Merle as the last thing.
Bully, 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 bully.
Yeah, bully, 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 bully.
But I really always thought he was bluffing with that arrow thing. So to get that one scene where he just decimates that squad, with including the ship with that arrow thing, that was.
That's why he's king of the rednecks.
Yes.
The redneck aliens.
The redneck aliens, yes. So that was a favorite scene. I thought that was it's like, okay, he wasn't really bluffing with this arrow thing the whole time. Okay.
So interesting thing, just a shout out to friend of the show, John. One of my friends actually produced a movie, and in that movie, the lead character is actually one of the redneck aliens. The one that says you've always been too soft on him. He had the really curly hair and the beard. So he was actually the lead actor in that movie. So that was kind of interesting to see him in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sweet.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yep. And so yeah, I'd say strong 9 out of 10. What I thought really, I went in expecting it to be a action comedy, and I thought it was more of a comedy action movie. So I thought I was pleasantly surprised they didn't spoil everything in the trailers. I made sure to only watch the one trailer because I hate when they release 50 million more trailers with more.
But there was just so much good stuff. Even the trailers, even watching all the trailers, didn't
So that's the other thing I noticed
10%?
is most of the stuff in the trailers was not in the movie.
Movies.
Oh yeah, some of the scenes weren't.
Didn't they have like a scene with like Gamora with like her arm like half burned off and everything like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
There
well,
was-
they had a scene where she was mostly undressed too, and someone was looking at her, which I assume to
It
be
was in the
Quill.
prison.
Yeah, so that was odd. And there was another scene where Glenn Close was like, the fate of of 12 billion people's rests in the hands of these 5 imbeciles, and
Right.
and then John C. Reilly was like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
But notice, you can tell where that scene would have went. That goes after the crew left to go to the rebuilt Milano. That's at that flight deck. That's the door. That's that scene. So that's a cutout scene. That went right after all of them left to go to the Milano, and then he looks up at it and goes, "Yeah, maybe this wasn't such a good idea."
Yeah.
So that one I could tell where it was edited out of. The rest of it I couldn't.
And they didn't mention Guardians of the Galaxy until the very end of the movie.
Which
Yeah.
was actually, I preferred that the way
That
that
actually,
that
yeah,
worked
that was great.
That worked much better, yeah. Because when they said that, when they had him doing the lineup, and he says they call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm like, okay, so what are they going to do? Some mega flashbacks and forwards and stuff?
Like, how'd they know that already? Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that was just a setup for the trailer, that.
I did like that the machine obscuring device did not appear in the movie.
Oh, that totally surprised me. I kept waiting for, like, oh crap, they didn't put it up. Oh, Eve's eyes. Ah.
Yeah, sorry.
Popping back up.
Yeah.
Groot's little arms were growing back when they were doing that part. That wasn't in the trailer either, but that was still funny.
Oh god, that scene where he just went and grabbed the battery. As, like,
Oh my gosh.
Oh, the simple yet awesomeness that was Groot.
you got the
And,
leg?
Nothing. They did nothing with his backstory. Nothing. So they can go any direction with that.
They did a little bit. They just said, "Oh, a real Groot." The collector was like, "A Groot."
Yeah, that was it.
That was it.
I was really disappointed in how they portrayed the Collector. Not like out of fanboy principle or anything.
Like he's not one of the elders or whatever.
He is one of the elders, and he's a
Yeah.
badass. So I was a little. I don't mind necessarily them taking it lighthearted, but we know he's got 3 Infinity Stones already. Isn't that right? 1, 2, 2.
So,
Yeah, so we know he's got 2 already. So the question is he working directly for Thanos to acquire them or not? And I don't know. It's going to be an interesting thing. I'm still really wondering if there's going to be a Thanos Quest movie. Because if there is, that would be amazing. If you're not familiar, Thanos Quest was a 2-issue special book that came out that chronicled Thanos' retrieval of all 6 Infinity Gems from the Elders of the Universe. And it kind of set the stage for the Infinity Gauntlet. It was really low print run. Not a lot of people got them, and so they're not worth like a ton of money. They're worth like, I don't know, $10 a piece now or something like that. But it's a really good read if you've never read it. Highly recommend it. But I'm still wondering if they're going to do something like that. What, as far as Guardians appearing in Avengers 2 that you mentioned earlier, Matt, I don't see it unless it's in a stinger where they pop up on the screen at Avengers headquarters saying he's coming, and that's it. It fades to black or something like that.
Something, yeah. That's more along the lines of what I was thinking. There's something Stinger-like. I
mean, I could see them like popping in if there's like something like if they do kind of like my guess on how they're gonna have like the whole Thanos thing of him collecting the stones is I think they're gonna have it like as a real quick montage in the movies. Because
could be Guardians too.
Right. I just don't see them going like super quick with it, and for him to do that, like he's already got like people. Thanos apparently has the attention of the universe as being like the universal badass. So if he's going to make moves like that, people are going to know about it. So he's going to have to do something calculated and quick, which is fully within his character to do so. So I would think there's going to be some kind of like plot where they kind of just do a quick run through it, and all of a sudden he's got him.
I'm with you. I think that if they're going to do Warlock, which, God, I hope they do, because Warlock's one of the best characters ever. And he's also a Jim Starlin character, so I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, if they do it, it almost has to be in, like, the stinger of Doctor Strange or something. But how do you tell his backstory, too? It just seems like we're not going to have enough time with Thanos or Warlock in order to sufficiently set up these characters. I mean, I know we just got a movie where each person had at most a minute 50 to tell their backstory, but still, we're going to need some context for these two characters.
And
I
don't,
think it's going to be fine.
I'm going to throw this out there. Don't count out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to play a role in some of this yet.
I hadn't thought of that, but if they have the Cocoon show up in frickin' Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I will probably do a backflip. It will not be pretty, because I will crash through a table and other assorted furniture items.
Just make sure you record it before you do it.
I'll do that like, Nintendo 64, and then do the backflip.
But I mean, we already have Kree-infused humans.
Yeah, so, you know, and I'm thinking that's going to have to... I mean, we know they have healing factors now. So, I don't know. I don't know how we're going to end up with half the Avengers we need to have for the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't know how we're going to end up having... Now, if they're smart, what they'll do is when Thanos kills half the universe, they'll cut to New York City, and they'll cut to a redhead standing on the street looking up at a web that's just gone. If they're smart, they will still use the Fox properties and Sony properties without using the Fox and Sony properties to illustrate that half the world has been disappeared.
Ah.
Could do that.
Without showing it, they're showing it without showing it.
I don't even think they need to do that. I trust
Yeah,
them
but
to pull this off.
they should.
No. I wouldn't even bother with that because they clearly don't need them at this point. And they're showing that. It would be a nice to have because we would love to see movies done properly, you know, but guess what? It's not going to happen. We have to live with that. And what we have is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought
So if they could pull Black Panther off, they could replace Reed with T'Challa.
Well, he's part of the Illuminati anyways.
Yeah, true.
I
So
mean,
I did have one question for this quorum of intelligence that we have here. When the collector was telling the backstory of the stones, which was surprisingly similar to the actual story of the Infinity Gems, which were originally the Soul Gems. Was that they were originally called?
correct.
The one kind of surprised that they had the Celestials being the original bearers of them. That was interesting.
No, yeah, well, that was implied. I watched that a second time after you said it. After we talked, that was implied, not stated.
True.
We saw a Celestial with that specific gem.
That specific stone. Yes, you're right. So well, at least that one Celestial had, and that was the World Destroyer Celestial too. So the fact that he had that stone and was destroying a world with it was a little nice tidbit for me. But they went through the 6 beings that were temporarily able to wield the power of one stone. Was that supposed to be like the Collector and the Gardener? Was that who those were? Was those supposed to be the original Guardians? Who was that supposed to be?
I don't think that was supposed to be anybody.
That was just random group of aliens that tried to get together and use it and burned out.
Yeah, I mean, it could. I mean, I guess it could be argued. Well, see, the Beyonder plays into all this as well, but I don't think we're going to have the Beyonder. So
now here's a thought I had. Okay,
This is
yeah, I know it's lots of dangers here, but we know Peter's not entirely human, which follows his comic book origin. Now, in his comic book origin, he is the son of the King of Spartax, which is one of the 5 galactic kingdoms.
correct.
And is very, very, very well known as such. Now, they said with their scans that his makeup was of something ancient and unknown to the Nova Corps, which apparently is the keeper of all knowledge, which kind of fits with the Supreme Intelligence or the World Brain. World
If
Brain.
they make him half Beyonder, if this is where you're going with it, I approve of this idea.
That's where I was going, because she said he was an angel, like descended from the light. Which, okay, that obviously is implying that he is of alien parentage.
Right.
But it could be Beyonder.
I could not think of a better actor. I know I could not think of a better actor right now to play the Beyonder, to be 100% honest, than Chris Pratt.
Oh, have him become the Beyonder.
Maybe.
That's possible, yeah.
But I don't think that's where they're going to go. But
You said Adam Warlock be his dad, maybe?
Adam Warlock can't procreate.
I know, but Matt was saying maybe. I don't know what they can do.
They could do that. I mean, yeah, they've tweaked enough stuff that's something they could tweak.
Tweak again,
most
yeah.
People wouldn't get too terribly bent out of shape about it, except for you.
I would get terribly bent out of shape. Yes. So I just want to, before we diverge too much farther, I do want to note something that I did catch in the second viewing that I did not see in the first one, and that is, if you weren't familiar with what Ronan did, is he took the stone and slammed it into his hammer. Rocket shot it out of the hammer, and Peter grabbed it, and in the process of the four of them grabbing hold of each other and
Transferring the power, yeah.
Yeah. And whatever attack Peter did with it, when they were done, when Gamora encased it, it was a gem. So it is now an Infinity Gem. So
Really?
If you did not see that the first time, because I did not either, I went back and saw that, and I'm like, holy shit, it's an Infinity Gem. And so yeah, so the gauntlet is definitely possible.
Wow.
And welcome.
It's not possible. It's happening. We know it's happening.
Well, it's already happened. I mean, we've already seen the gauntlet. With the gems, no less.
Which that's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, I thought it was a little niche into just like, oh, look what's here in, what is it, Odin's vault.
Yep.
And I think it's just a little Easter eggs, and go, oh, we're actually doing that storyline?
Do you think they'll keep Thanos as being from Titan?
No, they called him the Mad Titan.
Yeah, they said the Mad Titan.
They did call him the Mad Titan, but that could just be a title. I mean,
I've seen that thing that Turo was pushing around the net as truth to what the Marvel movie.
I saw it and I got all excited.
Your project was. I do honestly think that having the Inhumans is a smart way to go. The question is, do the Inhumans belong to Fox? Because of Crystal and Cersei and those guys are sometimes guest Fantastic Four people. Mm-hmm. So if Marvel has Inhumans, then they have their M word, but it seems like they're going in a different direction with Miracles instead to keep mutants. So if they do that, I'm not sure that the Inhumans are actually necessary.
And we still have the implication from what's her face that in dang it, Agents, that Skye and herself are not entirely human. So
see, and I'm curious where they're going to go with that, because that to me is, she's already not human and now she has Kree super blood. So I really think she's going to end up being Ms. Marvel.
Seems to be the direction they're going.
What they do with Coulson is another story altogether, though.
I really thought he was going to end up,
being the Vision.
Yeah.
I'm not upset with Paul Bettany.
No, I'm not either.
No, that totally works.
It's just one more of my theories getting shot out of the water.
Although I wholeheartedly hope they have him introduce somebody and he does it in the style of
Knight's Tale.
Yes, please.
I also that San Diego Comic-Con poster. I appreciated that you see Vision way in the background there. I appreciated the fact that it looked like a very traditional take on the Vision. And apparently, I'm boring everyone because everyone's off doing chores now. So I'll just shut up and stop talking now.
No, you're not boring us at all.
You start playing with the lights. Turo's playing with his door.
I just noticed it's really dark on my camera, and I have the spare light right here, so I was gonna check it out. Sorry. I don't know what I'll do today. Dave, you've been actually really quiet.
Yeah, I guess.
I know you're gushing. You've been gushing about this movie, so
I'm trying to find the Inhumans rights. Sorry, and I'm not finding it.
We started getting into theory and everything like that, and my thing is, like, I don't even want to get into theory anymore at this point because it's just so. I trust in what they're doing. They've already proven that they're deviating heavily from comics and everything. From what I was reading online about, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, there's nothing at all to do, aside from like the way the characters are. So that's not a problem for me that they're deviations and everything. But I'm not going to get into so much theory because I trust them at this point. They know what they're doing. They have a plan. They've proven this plan time and time again. Just see where it goes.
Yeah, all I have to say is the more I've thought about it, I'm convinced that Cloak and Dagger were revealed on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Even though that was somebody else's backstory. They specifically said the stuff I needed to hear, and so I agree. They're going to do what they need to do, and they're not going to care necessarily about the continuity. And the funny part is, I guess I'm not sure why I'm upset about it, because this is the comics company that have come out and said, hey, we're not going to let continuity get in the way of telling a good story.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why I'm surprised or outraged.
The thing is, it's a different universe, so it's fine.
Yeah, I read a really good article, and this is a question for the panel. Does Marvel need to even make comics anymore? Because one movie makes more than probably their entire yearly sales runs.
I think it's important to keep it going, just because that's where there's going to be story inspiration from. That's where they're going to have. I mean, you're going to get stuff like that. You can't tell me that their digital sales of Guardians of the Galaxy comics didn't go through the roof.
So here's my follow-up question.
And will, at this point.
So here's my follow-up question. Okay, that being the case, and I agree with that wholeheartedly, by the way, but that being the case, should they then take the monetary earnings expectations off of that company and allow them to be a true story house? Because we see so many Marvel comics that are canceled after 5 issues, and they don't let it grow and have time to mature because we've got these monetary expectations on the comics. With the movies doing the bulk of the earnings generation at this point, should Marvel Comics not be held accountable for sales?
It's, in the end of the day, it's still business. I don't know how. I mean, I'm assuming they have things sectioned out, in different divisions within the company. Marvel Studios probably isn't beholden so much to any of the other divisions. It's its own thing, probably, on paper. So, at the end of the day, everybody's got to try and, not bleed the company completely dry. So,
I think
it's going to be a little mix.
I agree. I don't think it's going to really, but what it does do probably is allow them to take chances with more risky titles like Hawkeye and She-Hulk and
I thought you said risky titles.
Well, those were risky titles. The way that they did them with the authors and the artists they put on them, those were risky titles. Hawkeye's, I don't know if he's ever had a solo book before, but he's never had a solo book like this book has been. That was a very un-Marvel book. but they're starting to do more of these. And I mean, they're having to compete with Image right now. I mean, Image is really kind of, you talk to any comic book geek right now.
Well, Image is firing on all cylinders, and not to boot, they are giving the books the time to mature, rather
Right.
than just ganking them if they're not doing gangbusters out the gate.
Right. And they're telling original, unique stories where, a lot of Marvel characters kind of feel trapped within the trapping of their own mythos. So, can't reach it right now, but the latest copy of Trees and Saga came out, which are both Image books, written by Vaughn and is it Ellis? Warren Ellis is writing Trees, I think. And I'm a Marvel guy. Those went to the top of my read stack, So I mean that's telling you something. Not to mention they're competitively priced and the $10 trades, which is ridiculous.
Well, and I mean even when I had the store, our number 1 and 2 books were not Capes books. They were The Walking Dead and Why the Last Man, which neither of them are superhero books, and they were both. Well, one was an Image book and one was a Vertigo book.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think having the success in the movies allows them to take chances with certain titles that they may have not taken chances with before and played it more traditional route.
See, I tend to think I think you're right, but we're not seeing it. And what really frustrates me is they could lower the price of comics back down to $1 and $2 like it used to be to attract a wider readership. But instead we get $5 comics that only certain people can afford, and it's not an accessible barrier to. I mean, the cost is too high of a barrier for entry for a lot of people.
Almost every single book I pick up is $3.99 now. They tried to introduce that $2.99 price point, and it's just not on enough books.
On the flip side, what about the digital distribution deals where they have a Netflix like set up now, where you can get in and you get everything on, like, basically you're not getting it right away, but I think it only lags like a month or like 3 months or something.
I think it's 3 or 4 months. But...
Yeah, but here's the problem, Dave. Have you ever read a digital comic book versus an actual comic book?
Yeah.
See, for me, there is something lost when you go digital. I like owning the book. I like having it in my hands. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have digital distribution. Not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying if you want to get people into the paper stroking and sniffing arenas, then that's one way that you can do it, is by lowering the price for everybody. And it just seems like they're not doing simple business sense arithmetic to get there.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I understand the allure of the actual paper comics. I have a bunch myself. I like getting trades every once in a while, but digital, that's the way they're going to get everybody in there. And I'm sorry, reading
Same thing
stuff
with reading.
Yeah,
It
reading
sounds like
an
we
actual
need-
book.
Sounds
Reading
like
stuff-
we need to do a comic book podcast. That's which one? Identity Crisis? Awesome story. I love that story.
Yeah, but reading stuff on digital, I bought the Infinity Gauntlet series on digital to reread that. And as I was reading through it and everything, they have, like, it's a really great setup. Like, it starts off, it gives you the whole page, and then you swipe, and then it brings up all the panels in, like, order as you're going. Has a nice little dynamic flow to it. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
The funny thing is do you know what the thing is for me more than anything? I mean, I'm a collector. I like having things to collect. Digital things in a digital space are not things. Not to me, at least yet. But I like having, like I still haven't got my organization project. I have comic books all over this floor here. I like having things to collect. But
I don't believe you. I can't see it.
I can move the
Collect
camera.
Lego, go digital for comics.
I do collect Legos too. I just don't buy nearly as many of them because they're even more expensive than comics. But the price of digital, yeah, if you're doing the Marvel Infinity, it probably balances out. But the minute they stop that service or they decide to gank an issue because of some copyright issue or whatever they've got going on.
It's not complete.
It's gone. It's lost.
Look, yeah, this is something that you can appreciate. My business partner, there was an issue of Superman that had JFK in it, and it came out like the month JFK was shot, and so they did a recall on all of them, and so there are less than like 1,700 of these books in existence today, and it was his personal mission to go around and collect every single one of those he could find, and at last count, I think he had like 42 of them, of this same book, of Superman meeting, because JFK impersonated Clark Kent to protect his identity. And so, if that's a digital space, you can't collect that. It's not the same as having the paper between your fingers.
Okay, who's saying you can't get that ridiculous, stupid book that's pointless?
No, but my point
And hold on to it and love it, and then just read everything on digital.
There's so
Because
many...
you know something, if you're a collector, if you're really a collector and you're collecting the comics, you're not reading them.
But the point is that if they keep the barrier so high for entry, there will be fewer and fewer people collecting comics and experiencing that pastime.
Okay. I get both
I'm a
sides
hybrid
now.
collector. I read everything I buy, but then I bag it and board it, and it stays in the box.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But every once in a while I'll buy an extra issue and not read it and just stick it straight in the thing. But you know what? If I've thought about the Infinity or is it Marvel Infinity? No, Marvel.
The Infinity Gauntlet?
No, their comic
the Netflix thing.
service.
Oh, I don't know.
I forget what it's called.
I thought it was Marvel Unlimited, but
yeah, it might be. Yeah, Marvel Infinity Unlimited, Marvel Unlimited. Maybe it's Unlimited, whatever it is. But there were still books I would have to buy. I mean, I've got a run of Amazing Spider-Man / Superior Spider-Man / Amazing Spider-Man again, that goes from like 92 forward. I've got entire runs of titles that don't exist anymore. That's something I'm going to continue to buy, and to add the price of that on top of that, it doesn't work. You know, if digital comics were like digital books, if digital comics were cheaper than their paper counterparts, yeah, I'd probably buy some DC books or something that I wouldn't normally buy in physical copy to just read it. You know, but it doesn't seem to work that way. They want $3.99 for the book. They want $3.99 for the ebook. I don't know. The model's not set up for someone like myself. Now, someone who, I know a lot of people who do digital comics, and now that Comixology is allowing you to back up some providers' comics, that, you know, makes a little more sense to me. But still, you know, I don't know. To me, there's something huge lost in not reading it on there. It's like I've read 3-4 books on my Nook. I don't know. They were things that I just wanted to read and wanted to get through quick, and I could take that with me instead of hauling a book with me, and I could click through it. But it didn't. I wouldn't want to read The Hobbit on my Nook, even though I've read it 100 times.
So yeah, I think it's something that we're gonna have.
How did they make the trailer of The Hobbit the most boring thing ever?
Okay, all right.
Man.
We are really
I was
sidetracking.
disappointed with that trailer.
All right, so I have
disappointed.
It's the best battle ever in Middle Earth.
one final Guardians of the Galaxy, one final Guardians of the Galaxy question, and then one unrelated question, and then we'll close the podcast out.
Oh, it's okay when you like.
First, well, this is kind of related, but it's a little unrelated. It's at least in the same genre, which The Hobbit is not. Good sir. So first off, your favorite character from the movie. We'll go around the table. Start with Turo. Who still owes us a favorite line of the movie.
Oh man, it really did make me giggle whenever he did say, "Nothing goes over my head. I have quick reflexes." Like, that was just that. It just made it awesome. And anything that Groot didn't say was my favorite line. Let's just say that.
So, favorite character?
Favorite character. As much as I don't want to say it, even though he is Rocket Man, that was he was so cool.
Dave, favorite character?
I gotta go with Rocket on that. He's got my favorite line in the movie. You know, with the whole "Why do you still have that?" and just all the stuff he did was just like hilarious and even like just useful. Like I love that whole bit where he made Peter get the leg. And then,
I didn't need that.
And then the other bit where he was like, he gave him to the count of 5, and then like Quill runs up to the microphone and he's like it's like Rocket, hey. He goes, oh hey Quill, how's it going? Like I just they just did such a great job with his with his work.
All right, Matt, how about you?
It's tough between Quill and Rocket. It's a tough choice. Both characters were amazingly well done. Not that any of the others weren't. Novacore dude, whose name I forget, that looks like
John C. Reilly.
Yeah. Yeah, that was amazingly well done too. But
I was really surprised he got as much backstory as the Guardians.
Yeah.
More in some cases. And not to
which makes me think that somehow he's going to be involved with the true Nova Corps.
Yeah, there's going to. That's not the last we've seen of him, I don't think.
Sweet. He could.
He did have a really good line too. No, I don't believe anybody's 100%
Yes, that was.
That was good too.
I was trying to remember the character's name, not the actor's, but yeah. Is he ever? He must be named. Yeah, he's named somewhere.
Yeah,
Day. I thought it was something Day.
Yeah, something Day.
Dion Day or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, but if we're going with the Guardians, I got to end up going with the Rocket. There was just so much well done with that. The animation on that. Imagine trying to computer animate that even 5 years ago. Just wouldn't have happened. The detail in his face, perfect. The matted fur from being wet, everything with the graphically, it never came off as animation to me. He looked so much like a raccoon, and adjusting your junk while doing the slow motion march. That's just
By the way,
awesome.
If you didn't notice at the very tail end of that, Gamora was yawning.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have to assume that was like an included outtake. I have to assume.
Something. I don't know. It was hilarious.
It was too good. James Gunn must have seen it and was like, "No, I'm keeping it."
So I would have to say that my favorite character, man, it's really tough for me to pick one. Probably who I thought was going to be the most annoying character, and that I was not going to like in any way, shape, or form, and that's Groot.
What?
He truly
annoying?
Yeah, because the I Am Groot thing, and this was the brilliance of them, is that they had the main character vocalize that him saying I am Groot is going to wear pretty thin pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that was really my biggest fear going into it, but
he doesn't say it that much, really.
Yeah.
He says it quite a bit, but they deflect it by having Rocket interpret it. Yeah, translate it. So
which that was always hilarious.
What do you mean it's better than 11?
Oh
man.
I think he became really the heart and soul of the group, and I think again created that bond amongst the team. That whole scene where Batista sat down and starts petting Rocket is like one of the best scenes where you have no idea how it's gonna end.
That scene where Rocket is like, oh boo hoo, and then Groot just went. Like they did such a good job with that stuff. Just like all the little things they just did absolutely right.
Yeah, very good. So then my non-follow-up, and that's pretty much the end of our Guardians of the Galaxy section. I just want to talk for a couple quick minutes. Has everyone now seen the Deadpool high-definition test footage?
Yeah.
I haven't.
It's in HD now.
You
can find
have
it.
not?
I haven't seen it, period, at all. That was during the period where my computer was all bedorkled, and
I look for it on your phone and watch it then.
Yeah, we'll have to.
It's bananas.
It's fine. You can talk about it. I'll watch it right after.
I would actually put it in the stream, but the issue
Or
is.
do you want me to watch it quick and then you guys can talk and I'll join?
No, it's all right.
Okay.
Because we'll just take it offline. But let me just say, if you haven't watched it, you need to. And why Fox has not greenlit this movie? They're idiots.
Well, it's Fox.
Well,
Yeah.
that's been proven.
Like I said, idiots. But anyways,
I heard a rumor there's this like a lost X-Men movie that was really terrible. That had like all kinds of like stuff in there that Fox greenlit. And like
That sounds about right. I just don't remember it.
X-Men Wolverine's Origins.
I thought you were talking about X-Men 3.
Yeah, that too. So anyway,
Weapon 11. Oh God.
Join us on Wednesday for our regular edition Gamersledge podcast.
wait, we gotta do this again?
Every Wednesday. Turo, any shout outs or parting thoughts?
Oh my gosh. Instead of going to watch TMNT, go watch Guardians again.
Damn it, why are we sharing the same brain all the time?
We did it like 3 times, 4 times.
Work in the mind meld.
You are Groot.
We are Groot.
So Dave?
This is please let this be #1 again, and not let the Turtles win. Don't reward Michael Bay for that. The theater that we went to see Guardians of the Galaxy at actually had, I took a picture of it. It had one of those LED scroll boards, and it said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 8/8 because Michael Bay hates your childhood.
That was amazing. Oh.
Like, this movie theater so is getting all my business from here on out, just so I can see this stuff.
Matt?
Not my closing thought, but I'm going to go on a limb and say I don't think TMNT is going to be that bad. I honestly don't think it's going to be that bad. Couple of reviews I've seen have been middle of the street. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but you can all hate it anyway. I don't care.
So all I'll say is that I vote with my money, and I'm not spending money on this. So if
I'm not going to go see it in the theaters, but I'll view it once it's out.
I'm going to borrow it from the internet and rate it from there.
You'll get the worst transfer ever just so you can add that material.
You know what? It's going to feel appropriate.
Oh.
Nice.
Anyway, I have just started watching. I'm 8 episodes in, I think, Attack on Titan. Holy crap.
I do not like that anime.
I have not watched an anime in quite a while, and I was feeling the itch, and I know there's a couple others that have been recommended to me, but I've heard stuff about Attack on Titan, and I at least at this point I'm still enjoying it. It's very Japanese, it's very bizarre, but for some reason it feels like the first time I watched Visions of Escaflowne. I can't explain it anything other than that. And just the wackadoodle stuff. And this is the first anime I've ever seen where time has progressed that fast. I'm guessing it's going to slow down now, maybe. But the first 8 episodes covers like 6 years of time. Yeah. So it's dark, it's gruesome, as Hulu constantly says. This is intended for mature audiences only. Yeah, this is not Sailor Moon Crystal, which also, by the way, is quite excellent. Some animation issues, but that aside, it's actually a really good remake of the original, and apparently of the manga, which I've never seen. So I've been watching that with my daughter. So yeah, I guess I'm getting back into anime a little bit.
Yay. All right, and my final thoughts, do please like the video, subscribe if you like the content, visit us at gamersledge.com, and of course you can visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/gamersledge. Follow us Balt99 on Twitter, and you know the spot for liking and subscribing here. Until our regularly scheduled podcast, until then, game on.
Game on.
I thought it was movie on. This one.
Movie on.
Movie on.
Movie on. Spoiler on.